If you want an easy, no-nonsense, and super delicious fish sandwich or some seafood, you got to go to the Current Seafood Counter. It's just so easy. You walk up there, I go, hey, give me a margarita, give me a mahi-mahi sandwich, and give me some of those Old Bay fries with some malt vinegar, and I'm done. And then they bring it out to me. I sit outside with my dog. I'm sitting in the Florida sun eating just a delicious seafood sandwich.
Yeah, it's counter services right there in College Park. It's easy to find. They also have a location, Henry's Depot in Sanford. But the College Park location is right near us. But it's counter service seafood, and it's really, really good.
Lobster rolls, peel and eat shrimp, couple fritters, daily specials, pastas, grouper sandwich.
They also have great craft beers on tap. All the northeastern beers, craft beers, and then
a lot of them are
cocktails.
special beers you can only get in Maine. They've got coastal cocktails. $7 gets you a well, and it's strong.
Yeah, my favorite is the black and mahi sandwich. I love. I mean, if you offer me a black and mahi sandwich every day, I'd eat it every day.
Me too.
I'm never get tired of it.
I mean, you can call me a double man too, but I like that it's got lettuce, tomato, onion, a little bit of tartar sauce. Doesn't even need it, but you put it on there.
It tells, it activates my emotions, and I'm like, oh, this is a special event. For whatever reason, black and mahi sandwich. It means I'm like, all right.
You want a little toasted bun? You want a little butter on it? You want some? So I'm gonna put these fries in the fryer. I'm gonna fry them perfectly. And then when they come out hot, I'm going to Old Bay the hell out of them. I'm going to pile them up high. I'm going to put your sandwich right on top of it. And when it comes to you, it's going to be piping.
The staff at, they're great too as well. So it's the Current Seafood Counter right there in College Park. Tell them Tom and Dan sent you. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd love it if you'd come hang out with us. Just search for @TomandDanLive, like and subscribe.
The Melrose Pop Music Festival is June 21st and June 22nd at the Orange County Library System.
Yes.
It's completely free. It's downtown Orlando. It's your chance to check out the library, but more importantly, the Melrose area, because there's so many free things that you could take advantage of.
It's one of the most state-of-the-art. Our good friend Tony Munget is here, and I know you know your way around some recording equipment, and I actually saw you the other day say, hey, where are my BDMs that have recording studios at? And I didn't even think to tell you that we could probably just ask Jim at Melrose Center and get you hooked up with one of the best studios in the town, right there at the Melrose. So I didn't even think of this until we started doing this little mention.
They'll teach you how to use it. Then you can use it for free.
Are you Orange County or Seminole?
Seminole.
It doesn't matter. For a little bit. No, you know what? I'll pay it. We'll do it as a.
You can, even if you're outside the county.
I'll pay it for you because you're a friend of the show, and then we'll get you in there, and then you can record your music.
I'm in.
Yeah, we should do that. Why didn't I think of that?
I mean, it is.
I'm doing exactly what people I rail on people. I'm like, don't forget about it. Don't forget about all these great resources we have. I just did it. Well, anyway,
OCLS.org if you want to check it out. But again, that's the Melrose Pop Music Festival, June 21st and June 22nd. But our good friend Tony Munget is here. How you doing, Tony?
I'm good.
So, I saw a lot of people on my social media going to the Metallica show yesterday.
Seems like everybody on Facebook went to Metallica.
It seems to be the hottest ticket in town.
And so we had talked about it last week. It's funny because last week we were like, when we first started talking about it, even Ross was like, "Oh, are they? What venue are they playing?" Like we forgot how big. It slipped our mind how big Metallica.
Well, they're a global
is.
rock band.
And when I started thinking about it, and then I started researching it this morning, how big they actually are. But I was like, they are. I mean, a gigantic band that has had such a huge influence in music over 44 years. Yeah. They've been playing together
about as long as I've been alive. I'm 48.
I mean, there aren't that many bands left that have played for that long on such big scenarios.
And basically the same lineup. I mean, let's be honest. Robert Trujillo is in the band, but he's been in there 20 years. They said that at the concert, and everybody was like,
it feels new, but it's not. It's been
and he even said
years.
that. He's like, I'm a new guy, but it's still 20 years.
Lars and James Hetfield, obviously the founding members of the band, but have been together the entire time. Anyway, so I'm watching people on social media. Then Daniel texts me, and he's like, hey, I'm going to the snake pit. I'm like, what the snake pit?
Yeah. Do you know?
I'm like, what the hell?
Have you ever heard of the snake pit?
Slash a snake pit?
No. I kind of thought that too. Great band though. Yeah, I used to love Slash
so
Snake Pit.
Tell me what happened because you went to the Metallica show last night.
Saturday, and Eric Merchman, God bless him, reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about going by myself and just getting a ticket." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I want to go too. I kind of want to just snag one." And the prices for nosebleeds or whatever, not that bad. I mean, I think for about $100 and some change, you could get a ticket and go enjoy Metallica if you wanted to. But you're not going to get...
They played 2 nights?
2 nights. They played Friday night and last night, Sunday night. So I'm sitting at home. It's Saturday. I get a text message from friend of the show, a founder, Mike Aiello, our buddy.
Yeah.
And Mike hits me up. He goes, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to the Metallica show. Would you like to go? I always think of you. I know you like concerts. You're a music guy. Would you like to go?" And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I need to do more of this. I just got this new hip replaced so I can get out, right, and do stuff. I didn't get it replaced to sit on the couch.
And you're basically like Mike, better than Eric.
Right.
Well, he's got more hookups. Me and Daniel Turner like,
no, I wasn't going to go. I had decided that I was just not going to go. I'm like, because it's easier to say no to things. You know what it really is. But then Mike was like, "Hey, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to go?" I was like, "You know what? I'm going to do it. It's Metallica." And you were kind of pumping me up a little bit too because I texted you. Mike says, "I think it's in the snake pit." And I'm like, "Well, I don't even know what that is." So we don't know what seats we're getting. I just know we've got seats.
At first, when you said snake pit, I thought that maybe what Metallica fans called the mosh pit, and then I was like, "Oh, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna start stepping on his
roast him. They're gonna roast him. They're gonna put his head on a stake like Piggy in Lord of the Flies.
They're gonna smush him because Daniel's kind of small, and then he gets smushed in a crowd of Tampa metalheads,
Tampa trashos,
and then they just start stepping on them, and then they don't even realize.
And they're work boots. Oh, they'll just grind me into the floor.
He's whipping people with his cane.
Anyway. Hey, I'm off the cane.
You're off the cane?
Yeah, I've been off the cane.
Congratulations.
For a minute. Yeah, thank you. So, I got to drive to Mike's house. So I drive to Mike's house. He's like, "Okay, we're going to drive over to Raymond James," which is not an easy drive. From Claremont, like it's a minute, and I had to be down there early, so I had to meet him at 4. So I'm going in, right? If you go in,
it's an all-day thing.
It's an all-day thing. And I also had told myself one of the biggest arguments that I get in with my wife and my daughter is that my daughter has like time anxiety. And the last couple concerts she's gone to, she's wanted to peace out early so she could get a good night's rest for like either testing the next morning or some dance thing. And she's like, I'd really just like to she's real big on putting herself to bed at a certain time and getting the right amount of sleep. So it bothers me to no end to leave concerts early. I absolutely hate it. In fact, we had to leave. We left Casey Musgraves early. I hated that. I paid for those seats. I threw a lot of money on those tickets, and we left early. I was mad. I was very, very mad. So this one, I'm like, I'm going there. We're going, and I'm coming home when I come home. We're going.
I have such a hard time relating to kids wanting to go to bed at a reasonable time.
I know.
My sons.
I know.
I've now summertime. I mean, I go to sleep before them. I'm like, I can't take it. I can't stay up. I'm like, I hope you go to bed, and then just go to sleep.
I love that.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's what I did too.
I cannot stay awake as long as you guys can. They want to go forever. They're
I play Sega Genesis till 4 in the morning. Yeah. I would play Altered Beast on Sega Genesis till 4 in the effing morning. I did exactly that. My daughter's that's not how she's wired. If she knows she has I got dance at 8 a.m. the next morning, I better go to bed at 8:30.
Oh, yeah. My sons, they've never had a responsibility.
Yeah. Well, so I show up there. We drive another hour to Raymond James. And traffic, you can tell Metallica's in town because as soon as you get on the outskirts of Tampa, you're coming in. It's like there's cars everywhere, and you're like,
it's like that anymore.
What's the
honestly, with or without Metallica?
Yeah, I haven't been there in a minute, but I was like, I don't know how we're going to get into lot 14.
Well, just the seats alone. I mean, what's Raymond James? 60, 70, probably.
Probably.
Maybe
60.
even 80. And then, of course, all the field, the standing room and seats that they set up and stuff. So what do you think how many people
the capacity? Well, I think
like 80.
I know in the area that we were at, there's about 1,500 to 2,000 just in the snake pit area. but I don't know how many they have on the floor. And then it was
out,
all the way up. Yeah, I've never seen something where it looked like almost more like a European or a South American soccer match, because when you stood in the center where I was and looked around, the people went all the way to the top.
Very Wembley Stadium.
Very
Queen.
I'm not used
Wembley.
to that. Yeah, I'm definitely not
so
used to
So is this the football stadium or the baseball stadium?
No, football. Yeah, it's Raymond James
football stadium. So
it's where the Bucks play.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we show up. We got to go to will call. We go to will call. We get the envelope. And it's a fancy-ass envelope. It's a yellow, because their whole tour is like yellow and black. The envelope's yellow. It's got it's automatically, I knew we had something special because it had a QR code on the outside. It's like, please scan this QR code before you open the envelope. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I scan the QR code. We open the envelope, and inside are 2 bracelets that say Snake Pit on them, which... It's still corny. I love that. It's a snake pit. It's a snake pit.
You want tickets to the snake pit? Metallica's brand.
Snake. Yeah.
What else are going to do?
Look at my snake. One-eyed snake. Snakes.
It's time to rattle.
I'm a sassy snake. But no, I put on the bracelet. I was afraid that people were going to tackle me or something. And I had a backstage pass or some sort of like friends and family pass. So I had the pass that... Like, I was in a room, like, Mike Aiello and I, we started walking, through Raymond James Stadium, completely lost, had no idea where we were going, and nobody knew where our tickets worked. Our ticket was so special, when they scanned it, they're like, well, we don't even know where you go.
Oh, that's real good.
Yeah, it was like, and then I was like, oh my God.
They hand you a guitar and drumsticks. Like, all right, guys, go ahead.
They scanned it, and then they just walked us, like, I've never had this before, where they scanned it, it didn't register, and then the security lady moved the barricade and said, you come this way. And she just walked us in.
Lars is going to spit in your face one time.
Like a snake.
You won't see him, but you have to close your eyes. But
it'll be him. So we finally walked through that, and then we're like, okay, well, the reason he got the actual tickets, and I was told I could say this part, is that he's doing a favor for Kirk Hammett's him and his staff.
Oh, really?
Like Mike did a favor for him, and
I love favors.
So the person that we were getting hooked up was Kirk. It was his team.
No way.
So yeah, so she's like, hey, I want to meet you guys. I'll walk you onto the floor. Her name's Shelly, super nice lady. I believe that is his manager. So if this ever gets back to her, thank you so much for your hospitality and being so kind to us. But it was wild because when we finally met her, she's like, okay, here's another wristband. And I'm like, well, now I have 3. I have like a backstage pass, I have a Snake Pit pass, and then I have this other wristband on. The other wristband goes to a stage. I had my own personal, well, not just me, but like me and 6 people had a stage that was next to Metallica's stage that and it had chairs. Like Metallica branded, like embroidered.
That's a favor stage.
Like it's like the chairs. It's like the chairs that fancy soccer players sit in with the umbrella.
Right.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like a nice. It was a folding chair. Don't get me wrong.
We kind of had that during the AJR show when your kids were there. We had our own stage where the sound guy was with our own chairs, and we were elevated. We were over everybody.
Yes,
so
we were over, and they hate it when you're over them. Oh man, they would look back at me and the looks you'd get from people. Holy smokes!
I wonder if all bands have a favor stage. Where it's like
big bands do. Yeah,
because it's the easiest.
They had a cooler with like drinks in it that you could like get what you want. You could come and go as you please.
So what's the guitarist again? His name?
Kirk Hammett.
Kirk. So like you go into a city and you're like, I want this favor, and all you have to do to repay that favor is give that person tickets to your show at the favor stage, and it's the easiest thing to do for them, right? Like if some assistant like, hey, just give them the ticket, and it's like, all right, it's like they leave them at will call for you, and then it's a huge deal, but it's so easy for that person just to.
It's the old musician's trick.
It was set up amazingly. It was not crowded. The people with us were like super cool. Everybody's like really into it. I will say that the energy of a Metallica concert, like everybody there was like. in a very good mood and super wanting to help each other. I saw a couple people that had been maybe off of that drink a little bit, and there were people that didn't even know them that were trying to help them. It was good. It was good. It was a great vibe.
Meanwhile, Eric is in the stank pit.
No, he was up in. I think he was up in nosebleeds, and he was like, "I was like, can you see me? Can you see me?" I texted Eric. I go, "Merchman, can you see me on my?"
Oh no, you told him.
I texted him. I was like, "Hold on. What did I say?" I texted him. I go, "Can you see me on my own? I'm on my own stage." Merchman.
I went with another guy that got me better.
I'm flicking the bird at you. Can you see me?
Here. Here's a picture of me and Mike on our own.
He's behind the stage. So you can't even see the stage.
We're on our own little stage. Like we had our own little stage.
When you showed me where you were, I was like, "Holy ass!" I'm like, you were like damn near in the middle of the staging area. Like
we were in the stage
because I saw other pictures from basically aerial view from the stadium, and then how the stage was set up.
Here, I can put it up for people to see.
Where you could tell these bands are realizing, kind of like stand-up comedians with the little round stage in the middle. They're like, it's way more efficient. We can sell way more.
So was it a 360 stage?
I have the stage up.
Kind of, yeah.
If you go to our YouTube channel or Twitch, you can see it. Okay, like you see my mouse?
They're like,
this is where I was. See the center?
That's a snake.
And that center area is the snake pit. I was in there for the beginning of Metallica, right there, and then our stage was right here, all the way to the side, like right here. There's a pillar, and then right behind that fire is where we sat. So the handicap. The new hip.
So they're
hip to be square stage.
Their stage is set up so they walk around and basically they never just perform facing one direction. They hit all directions.
One of the cool things that so they well, let's start with Pantera. Let's back up just a little bit. We missed most.
So I will say, just so you know, up until yesterday, I had no idea Metallica was even playing here. So I don't know who was opening. I have nothing, so I'm actually taking all this info from your experience.
It's weird that it didn't get promoted in your social media because you like music,
I know, and I love Metallica
because it got promoted on my Facebook.
Yeah, I had a lot. I had a lot of it.
Even my wife was having some FOMO. Like she was saying, like we could have gone to the show, and I'm like, what show? It's like Metallica. I'm like, where? In Tampa. I'm like, I had no idea.
I contemplated bringing Tommy because I was like, they may never be back. That's
kind of what we were talking about. This might be the last chance for us to have seen them.
That was sort of my thinking too. Well, like I absolutely have to go to this. So we missed most of Suicidal Tendencies.
They played.
They did, but
isn't his son Robert's son?
Robert Trujillo's, I think he is, and then Mike Muir's still there. Sounded great. They sound great. They're, for old men doing the same thing that they've done for 50 years, maybe. Those guys, I don't even know.
That's
40.
Awesome.
They were great, but I didn't get to see them because, like, a lot of getting to. I will say, if you have snake pit passes or if you go into that area, it's really hard to get there. It's hard to navigate it. The way that they have everything locked down, the security that they have, and getting through things was not easy. And there's so many special areas, and everything is sold. It's like Disney. Like it's like a subdivision. Everything is sold.
They make their money in the ultra VIP and you know what I'm saying. Like I bet one area of Snake Pit VIP could make as much as 1,000 seats.
Sir, they call it expanded experience.
Yeah.
Can you please use the
Metallica Platinum?
It's Metallica expanded experience, sir. Could you please call it what it's called?
They're a corporation worth $1 billion. By the way, if you look up Metallica's net worth, Metallica as a band is worth. Yeah, I mean their brand is worth $1 billion.
It looks like it. So we're at our stage, our little mini stage for Pantera. I get to see Zakk Wylde.
Played.
Zakk Wylde, I will say, just to be a little critical, it's not a bad thing, but I like that he put his own stamp on the Dimebag Darrell guitar parts. It sounded like Zakk Wylde doing Pantera, which I think it should. I don't think he should go out there and try to pretend to be Dimebag Darrell. I don't think that's a good thing.
I'll go ahead and say it, because that's not my Pantera. Because it's only Philip. Like, Philip is the only one that's
Rex.
The original.
And Rex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bass player.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so, like, I liked it because it's all I'm going to get to see. You know, like, those guys are gone forever. So I very much enjoyed it. They had 2 drum kits on the stage for that. Phil sounded pretty good. I mean, you can't really sing anymore, but that low voice that he has sounds awesome, you know. So when he did like This Love, the place went nuts. Right. I mean, it went crazy. It was weird seeing Pantera play in the heat with bright lights on. It's weird. Like, they're not a beach band. You know, I kind of felt like I was at the beach listening to Pantera.
Was it still daytime?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure when the riff for Walk came on, I'm sure everybody lost their...
Well, he did a bit. He did a bit for that. Thing. He was like, he's like, you know, he's got that deep. He's like, I know a lot of you here don't know who we are, maybe because you're new, but you're going to hear this riff and you're going to go, I know this band. He's like,
everybody there knows Pantera. I mean, they were seeing Metallica. It's the same demo.
I think he was kind of addressing the
people
kids.
Brought their kids.
His whole shtick, Phil's whole shtick that night was like all about like, hey, us old guys don't have the energy, but we know what we're doing. It's up to you new guys with the energy to keep this going. So.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people brought their kids. Because their kids are teens or adults at this point, and then when they loved Metallica, so it's like it is a big family show now.
But I bet the average age was 50.
Probably. Yeah. I was young. I'm bringing it up. You know, bringing it down rather.
New hip. Oh yeah.
Pantera was great. We decided because Mike has a buddy that we met up with that also was in the Snake Pit, and this guy's like a Metallica guy. Like he's like he collects everything, knows everything. Like has been to like 20 shows or something. He's one of those guys. So he's like, hey, we have to be in the center of the Snake Pit, dead center, when they start. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Not the greatest spot for 5'2". Here, I'll just give you the real. If you're a smaller person, namely ladies, if you're built like a lady, like I am, the Snake Pit is probably not your best option. So the fact that I did get a mini stage, what I feel like was a dice roll luck. The fact that I got a stage is unbelievable because had I had to stay in the pit, it would have still been an amazing experience. It was amazing in there. Yeah. It's just really hard being ass level with everybody during the show. And all the tall people, and they're not nice about it at all. They just go right to the front and they just stay in the front.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I do it too. If I were a tall person, I'd do the same thing. I'm not like I'm there to see Metallica. I'm going to walk right to the front.
And
if you're small, I'm sorry. That's just genetic.
Well, that's not really a thing. It's like, let's get the handicapped person to the front. You can't see.
And it wasn't even that. It was just like there were a lot of smaller people in there. We couldn't really see much. So I did 2 or 3 songs in there just to kind of see it. Here's something wild. 4 drum sets all across the stage, so Lars can move wherever he wants to play. It was really cool. James Hetfield has microphones all over the place, so he can just he could be singing to you. And he still uses those rockabilly style microphones. He could be singing to you on like one side of the stage and then run all the way to the other side, and it's still going to be the same feed. His mic is mixed up, but it's just a different mic. It's wild. How many different endpoints that they can come and go. The guitar techs, I've never seen anything like this. Those guys are amazing. The fact that they come out of the crowd. They're under the stage. And so they come out of like the Snake Pit. So when Kirk needs a guitar or when Robert needs a new bass, the guys have to come out of the crowd. It's wild. And they're carrying the bass and everything. The band at some points will play together almost in a footprint about the size of this room. So it's very garagey. And the sound, they have these 8 towers that are in the center. And they've looped all the sound, and there's all these sound repeaters. The sound in the center is awesome. It was a stadium show, and the sound was awesome. Like, it was, like, studio quality, like, really, really, really good. I couldn't believe it because I hate stadium shows. Like, notoriously, they're bad. Now, I don't know what it sounded like way up in the top.
Let's ask Eric.
Yeah.
Call Eric
we could call him. We could ask him. Well, he might still be up there.
It does.
Stop doing that.
It does make a difference that Metallica has been playing stadiums since the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, like in the 90s. I don't know when they started playing.
They probably have it figured out by now.
So they have a lot of experience, and but this tour, I mean, a sellout twice at a football stadium. I mean, the amount of money they're making and is involved. Like I said, it's $1 billion brand, but this, I mean, I know that they must partner with some other company. I don't know if they own it or whatever that puts the tour on, but it's huge.
You want some stats?
You gotta think about the merch alone.
Yeah. I mean,
we didn't even see the merch. We didn't even make it to the merch, and we were bummed. I know Mike wanted to get some gear, but because we stayed and listened to every song, and then when it was done, it was like kind of like get the hell out of there.
This is $100 million tour, like just an insane amount of money.
No, Merchman was lower bowl. He was lower bowl.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your service. Okay,
he fought his way.
Let me give you some stats about this. Where I was at, like there are those 8 towers. They're 100-foot tall, and they have like video. Like screens on the sides of them, and those are the towers that are used for all the rigging of their lights, all the repeater speakers, all of that stuff. They, let's see, the audiovisual setup has 600 total speaker units, including a record-setting 288 of Meyer Sound's large Panther line array cabinets. There are 72 high-definition cameras. Like they had these cameras on sticks. They almost look like tiny little, almost look like Bob Barker's microphone.
Okay.
And it was like a tiny little camera on a huge, long, like gray pole, and they would just take it and put it over the pit. So if people were moshing, they'd have the stick they could go over, and then they'd have an HD quality video of like people dancing.
Yeah, I mean, it
was wild.
That's cool.
A gigantic production.
87 semi-trailers.
Yeah. I mean, that is ridiculous.
I think AGR, I think they say have 50. And I thought that was a lot. But, I mean, this makes sense. It's such a
It takes them 4 days to set up the area I was in. That snake pit area, supposedly it takes them 4 days to construct.
And it also makes sense that it's more than one night, because imagine setting all this up just for one night, and you're going to sell both nights. So you could have done 3 nights and probably sell them all.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Metallica for a second. I started
300 total crew members. That's not counting anybody on Tampa's Raymond James Stadium staff. Like they have their own
stadium.
They have their own 300 plus people that just roll in, and some of them have to be certified steel workers. They have to be like legit, contractual steel guys.
Is there a bigger or a more influential band that is currently playing than Metallica right now? A rock band. I can't think of
rock band.
American rock band. Because I started thinking, I was like, this is the biggest still performing American rock band that's had the most influence over the decades. You know what I'm saying? Like Metallica has to be it, right? There's no one that's still...
I was going to say Aerosmith, but I think they just recently had to cancel a lot of their tours because I don't think they can do it anymore. My wife was supposed to travel to Boston and see them. And
his voice blew out. Yeah.
Something, I think, what's his name, the guitarist?
Joe Perry.
He had a heart attack like recently or something.
Yeah, Crystal was going to see Aerosmith, and then they canceled.
They had to cancel and stuff. So I was going to say them, but obviously it's not them. I can't think of... I can't really...
And really, these bands are on the cusp of one small thing could happen, and then that's it. And you never see them again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and they are still performing. How was the show in general? Like, great?
I mean, I could not... I mean, it's the best rock and roll show I've ever seen.
How long did they play for?
I want to say they went on like around 8:45, and then, I want to say a couple hours.
Yeah,
it was a while, like long enough to get a couple of drinks. Like they were not cheating out on anybody.
Do you remember what the first song was?
The first song, no.
Did they play all the hits?
Yes.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I know they ended
probably
with Enter Sandman. I know that was when the beach balls fell down, and then there's like
hush, little baby, don't say a word. Never mind that noise you heard. It's the corniest.
I like that. I'm like, after he's supposed to go Lady Gaga.
I was like, why is it so corny? It's not scary at all.
They use a different one. They use a different one in the show.
Different lyric?
It's more corny. In the show, now I lay me down to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like James Hetfield saying that, but it's like a fast version. He's like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord buys all the key. It's weird because I remember hearing it. And I'm like, hold on a second, that's different. That sounds way different than the solos. That's the one thing I got to talk about. All the guitar players, like seeing people like actually know how to play and that have played for a very long time and are virtuosos. Like that was wild, and their guitar sound wasn't harsh. It was dialed in so you could enjoy it. It was like the sound was so good. It was just Green Day was my favorite concert because I'm just going on like what it made me feel like at the time. I went with Dan Stone years ago. I saw Green Day at the Buzz Bake Sale in West Palm Beach. And it was my favorite concert because I got to. That's when we were in that club and we got to meet Mike Dirntz and Trey Cool, and it was just cool. Like it was just like I was like, oh, what a great show! This one just absolutely blows it away as far as sound and everything.
I feel like a lot of guitarists nowadays they have these. They're not using amps anymore. But they have amps on stage to kind of pretend like like they're a rock band, but they're using this direct to front of house amp simulators, and that make the sound a lot, perfectly clear clean for everyone to hear. Like the amps, like Yngwie Malmsteen plays in front of 50 cabs. They're not
doing
cabs.
anything.
They're not doing anything.
It's just props.
It's just props.
Okay.
So I wouldn't doubt that Metallica is using direct to the board. They amp simulators.
At one point there was like a box on the side of the stage because I could see all the stagehands working, which kind of for someone like me is super fascinating. Like I fell in love with just standing there watching the ants running around like working the entire. These guys are busting their ass. They had a box that imagine like my console right here, covered in a thick plastic, right, that protects me from the rain, and there's zippers. And you could see through it. And so there was a guy in there, and it had like guitar tuners and all this kind of stuff, but he was zippered in this like protection room where like no one could get to him. Yeah, it was awesome. And then because I could see one of the screens, they were back there, and I saw him like hitting a string, and I'm like, what is that? What's he doing? And I zoomed in on my phone. It was a massive screen guitar tuner. It was just like F. He was just like tuning. He was just like tuning a guitar.
That's cool.
It was wild. They have it's almost like they had a whole guitar shop in the center
I mean, for such a guitar heavy band.
Yeah. 60 guitars, supposedly there.
163 million albums sold worldwide. At least that's what the internet says. And, I mean, could you imagine how many streams and how many people that Metallica's music has touched in some way? You know what I'm saying? Like, just a huge cultural icon that we'll never see again because they came about at a time where there were like a few avenues to promote your band and to get that famous, you know what I'm saying? So it touched our generation and older, your generation for sure. And then in all these other bands underneath them, and they're still performing, and I don't think there'll ever be a metal band as big as Metallica ever again because it's so segmented now. You'll never get that big.
I have friends that have opened for Metallica. Like, shout out to Discord, the people I grew up with in Venezuela, and they have a band called Discord out of Mexico now. If you like metal, check out Discord. They opened for Metallica in Venezuela.
Really?
And they played in front of 100,000 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because that was like a whole thing where people started breaking into the show, and it got out of control, and there was nothing they could do. So they played in front of.
That doesn't sound like the South America I know. They broke into the show and overwhelmed.
You might want to check that. I don't know.
There wasn't that much security to hold them back. Weird. And then of course, like they played that Moscow show, which is apparently still holds the world record for most attended concert in the world. It was like 1.6 million people.
They did
Moscow. Like you couldn't even hear, I'm sure, at the end of it.
At that point, it's like, why even go?
It's insane.
They did some things that like you don't see, and I'm not, and it's old man and it's corny and it's what you do when you've been doing it this long. But I loved it. Is they really did at the end of the night. They walked the stage
and they shook every single hand.
No, but they did thank every each person. Like it was so. Like you could tell that it was like we all do this every night. This is the way we do it. We're not going to we're in the business of not disappointing our fans. And so all of them took the mic, and I loved it. Like they all, it was almost like whether you like it or not, you're making a speech to these fans, and you're going to tell them how much you care about them. And they each did, and it did feel very genuine. Like James Hetfield kept talking about, thank you so much for having me in your lovely city of Tampa. He went to Burn Steakhouse. It was kind of cool, and I know they do that everywhere, but it was, as a sucker for that kind of stuff, man, I'll eat it up. If you start talking about my city and then start throwing in areas that where you're at, Robert and Kirk played Death.
Oh, no way.
Because they always do like a little tribute to the city they're in of a band that meant something. And they started playing. I would go, I know exactly what that is. So they started playing the world's most famous death metal band from this area is Death. And so they did like a little tip of the hat to them. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, it was an excellent. If you ever get a chance to go, just buy the ticket. Merchman was right. I should have listened to him all along.
We'll never get a chance again. They're never coming back.
Now. You wish you had taken Tom.
Because at a certain point,
you should have taken it.
Well, first he was sick yesterday. I got him sick.
Well, I got you sick. I think.
But the Master of Puppets came out in 1986. So next year it'll be 40 years since a album like that big came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like so. Think about that, and they've been touring the entire time since their first popular album came out. Master of Puppets.
They look great too. They all look really good.
Yeah, and now they're doing two nights at Raymond James and like doing the stadium tour.
I can't even be mean to Lars. I got to watch him drum, and it was good.
It was okay. He has 4 drum sets. He might as well.
It was good. He did great. Like it was just a good ass show, man.
By the way, Lars worth like $350 million. Hetfield worth $300 million.
Oh my God! All he wears a backwards black hat.
Have you seen Metallica with other drummers though? I think there's the guy from he played for I believe Slipknot.
Oh,
he played with that. Now,
Jordan, or I forget that guy's name.
Now Metallica sounded really good.
Well, they're like not just anybody can play Whiskey in a Jar Thin Lizzy cover. Come on now.
There is, and I say they'll never be back. I mean, obviously, if they did, they'd sell out a stadium 2 nights for sure. But it's but at a certain point, it's like, how much do these guys want to continue doing it? Because no matter what, even though I'm sure they have it down pat to make it as most comfortable as possible, but it's a lot of work. And if you have infinite money and you have
Sometimes
money,
you just want to drive around in your custom cars.
It's like you don't have to do this.
But I wonder though, and sorry, not to cut you off, but like I wonder at this point, like they're so huge, like how uncomfortable or how much of a pain in the butt is it really for Metallica? But they're not in a van.
No, you're flying private.
They're flying private. They got they could probably have their own bus, each one of them. They have their families here, probably.
But even the most comfortable way to put on a stadium tour is still work for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, it can't be not because you have to perform 2 hours. You have to remember nice things to say to everything.
They also it was no repeat. It was no repeat weekend. So and that's what they've been doing in
all
the
those songs. You can't F it up.
Yeah, so when they go in, like that's again, man, they made me. They made me more of a fan because like little things, like when they played that Death song, they had to work on that. They had to play that together and practice it. So when they did it, I give that as a music fan. I give them massive amounts of credit for that. Like I was like, holy crap, you learned a song that's like part of our history here in Florida. And you executed it perfectly at our stadium. Wow, that's really cool. Like I love that.
Like at a certain amount of time, I'm sure our listeners years from now will be like, why'd you stop doing the show? It's so easy. Just go in there and talk with your buddy Daniel. And I'm like, I don't want to even drive to somewhere. You see what I'm saying? I am done. It's like these guys are in their 60s, and so it's like at a certain point
they look like they're having a lot of fun.
But it still works.
Which was weird. Normally you don't like they very much seem to enjoy it, which I'm like to go back to your point. That gives me hope for them touring again. I don't know if this will be the end. I think they'll come back around.
Well, there's a reason why you're still doing it with unlimited money is because there has to be an enjoyment level in there.
Well, of course.
But regardless, like you said, to learn that many songs, to rehearse them, and then I'm sure they get into a plane, they fly somewhere, their crew goes and sets up the next show. They have, they're away from their house. Even like once you're worth $300 million, you have a nice house and you have the things you're into, and then you still have to leave those to go and live in a hotel somewhere.
I wonder if this has anything to do with it. You said they look great.
Yeah, they look great.
I'm sure they do. I've seen videos, and I'm sure all of them are sober. I'm sure all of them have gotten in the best shape they've ever been, or they have been in the last 30 years, probably. And they probably got a second win. they're probably like, you know what? I can probably do this for another 10.
Yeah, all their kids are grown adults. What else
are they going to do? Really?
Yeah. And you're right. And if you still can do it, you're like, wow, putting on these amazing stadium tours and giving your fans, like all these people that have followed you for 40 years.
They made me more of a fan. Like, not that I wasn't a fan, right? Like, I always liked Metallica, but I would say I was a fan of Pantera and I liked Metallica. I'm a fan now. Like that, I'm burned in now. Like that's the greatest concert I've ever been to. Was a band that wasn't really like my band, and I think that's cool. Like, they won me over huge.
Like, even though I never grew up listening to Metallica, obviously everybody's heard and knows Metallica and appreciates their music, but I appreciate just the longevity and the business of their band and what they've been able to accomplish and how many people they've performed in front of, and it is a testament to their being pros, right? Like, they must be insanely business-minded pros to be able to even hold this band together.
If you're willing to sue kids that are downloading your music, you're a good-ass businessman. You know what I mean? Like, if a kid downloads Enter Sandman and you want to blank his blank and take him to court, I think you're good with the pennies.
Well, everybody gives Lars a bunch of ass. We were doing it last week for being a business
He was right. We were stealing. I've said this before. We were stealing. He was right. He just went about it in a really dickhead way, and I don't like that. Yeah. But he was right.
But you have to be a business D-head to be successful sometimes. And to build your band into a $1 billion brand, I mean, you have to be a business D-head. Anybody who's built a $1 billion brand business-wise is, I'm sure you can be nice, but business-wise, they are cutthroat. That's the way they became this big.
It's funny.
They cannot be.
I did a video on my Instagram of the last song, and it's me, basically acting like I don't care while all hell is breaking loose around me, like Enter Sandman. Yeah. And people, I think, honestly believe that I was not having a good time. Conway J was like, "What's weird? I thought you looked very unimpressed in your video." I was like, I said in the caption, it says, "This is the greatest concert I've ever been to." Like, it was hands down. Like, I don't even think that Green Day show that was my best show, I don't even know if it even gets close now.
No, well, in that setting, you watch
it's not comparable. It's not comparable at all. It's not.
Even to see someone put together a stadium show is unbelievable.
Chris Jericho was there. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys this. So Chris Jericho and some other wrestling stars were on a competitive stage. There was a second stage. There were two little
Snake Pit 2?
Yeah, there was Snake Pit 2.
It was, what is it? Fall off this building pit.
They put him in Snake Pit 2. Now, Snake Pit 2, all the men in Snake Pit 2 have vests, no shirt.
All right.
I'm doing that next Metallica show.
Did
I'm doing
Jericho have that?
Yeah, oh yeah. He looks good too. He looks good. His arms, he's the big Jericho arms.
Yeah.
He's got but that's when you're ready to rock. He had his hair in the kind of the Jericho pony on the back.
Yeah.
And then he had a vest and he had his guns out, and I was like,
am I thinking about the right person? Didn't he have the TV show that it was like fall off the building or something? Like, it was like a contest.
I think he was the host of that. Yeah, I think you may have got that right.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah, I think you're correct on that.
Jericho?
Show me fall off the building. Yep, he got it.
And you mentioned that the ticket price, you said, were like $4,000?
Oh, yeah, the ticket I had. This is the part I don't want to really say. But but it's funny. No, if you
I only care about money. That's what moves the needle. Don't tell me how much it costs.
You're the Lars. You're the Lars. He is Tom and Lars.
Who am I?
You're Little Kirk.
I want to be Little James because of the beer.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Little James, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I
You're always asking for fuel. It's economy. Give
me fuel. This ticket, I guess if you had bought it and upgraded everything to the mini stage with the chairs, it can get to $4,000.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You could spend $4,000 to. And then, but by the way, this was a gift. I don't want anybody thinking that I am not grateful. And you damn sure bet I watch every blanking song. And I was when Metallica left, then I left. I did not waste that ticket.
Well, it's hard to be too grateful when it's free. I'd be sitting there.
He's the worst.
I'd be sitting there. I'd be like, "Hey, can we get out of here before the traffic?" I'm like, "I know, Sandman. I've heard it 1,000 times.
I know, Sandman.
I don't need to hear him thank Tampa. No. Just get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
I'm drunk."
Beers. Oh my God. What do you think? 2 beers.
Oh, 18 bucks
it's
a piece.
115.
No, 2 beers with a tip. What do you think?
35 bucks.
Yeah,
48.
Ooh. Okay, yeah.
$48.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're at the steak pit.
I am in the steak.
When you're at a fancy place, the beers are more expensive.
And when you're hooked up like that, I was like, anything these guys want, I'm buying.
But what kind of beer, though? Because that also... I mean, if it's like Miller Lite for $40-something, that's ridiculous.
It was cool. I'm a Coors Light man.
Yeah.
I'm a Coors Light man. Totally.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is.
What are you talking about?
You're there.
Waters are the same price.
If you spend
$4,000,
two waters, $48.
If you spend $4,000 a ticket, you're like a lot of. I've been around super rich people before. They don't even they don't look at the price. They just buy what they want. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just a number. It's like it all goes to nothing.
No one there, whether they were socioeconomically, did not matter. No one was looking at anything. People were tapping their card and carrying out like people that I don't know would carry out 8 beer. Like spending hundreds. You know.
Once you're there, you've already your pocket minute. You just buy everything. You're like, how much is this merch? $480. Okay, thank you. You just buy it, and you're like, I spent $1,000.
And it's really and that's not really a complaint, but their merch, it's nice merch. But like, you want a football jersey or something? They had some like cool stuff. You want a leather bomber jacket or something? You better get out your wallet.
Oh yeah.
That's so weird, man. For a metal band, when you relate metal with like
Tony, it's sold out.
I know, but think about
the
jersey's
sold out. We saw.
But it's more than that. It's bigger now, Tony.
I saw a guy complaining. He's like, I think
cultural icons.
I think they're like $100. The football jerseys, very cool, sold out. Bomber jackets, sold out. Their custom waterproof hats, sold out.
They are as big as movie stars. They're cultural.
I know. It's just I mean, I feel the same with like NoFX. Like for their last show, I went to their last show, and it was. Like that. It was like, I think my ticket was like $250 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And merch was expensive. Everything was expensive. If you wanted backstage passes, they weren't for $1,000, but they were expensive too. They're probably $1,000. I don't know.
Ryan in our Twitch chat room says, I dropped $95 on a football jersey. I'll wear it until I'm too fat to fit in it. I would too. You have to. You had to buy that. You could not go there with Metallica being one of your favorite bands and not buy that jersey. You had to do it.
And also, their entire demographic is almost retired or maybe retired early. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have money.
That is true.
They're like, I'll spend my 401k money. Who cares? Like they have money.
I sold my Porsche so I can go to Metallica.
They're just watching a cultural
That was something
icon.
very interesting. When I remember going to Lollapalooza when I was a young boy and seeing nothing but trash cars, a sea of trash cars. Metallica concert, nothing but nice cars.
Well,
bad.
All nice in their
cars.
40s and 50s now.
No clunkers. All good, reliable vehicles.
That's the thing about like you're a boy band or you're like playing for like a bunch of teens and kids. They don't have as much money. You see what I'm saying? There's less money on the table. Metallica, lots of money on the table.
And
lots.
And then there were rich people there, and we didn't even talk about what they would do. Like they were just, buying everything they saw. Like just walk into the tent and just be like, oh yeah, just take all of this, all of that.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. Come join us. Just search for @TomandDanLive. If you're on social media and you probably are spending too much time on there already, search for @TomandDanLive and like and subscribe.
The Downtown Library, Orange County Library System, OCLS.org, is doing their basically their Melrose Pop Music Festival on June 21st and 22nd, Saturday and Sunday. And it's completely free to the public. And it's 2 days of live music and your chance to check out all what the library has to offer. And they have a lot to offer.
Yeah, more than we can even list here. When you think Melrose Center, I just think high-quality recording studio. If you're a musician, a videographer, photographer,
podcaster,
a creative person. If you're a creative person, Melrose Center.
So on the show with us, old friend of the show, I had one time played golf with this gentleman and encountered a blood dog.
The blood dog. I forgot about blood dog.
I just played that course about a month ago, and all memories.
Blood dog. Was it a dog in heat? Or was it a fighting dog?
Let's just call it that.
There was a time when I used to go out on. I'm glad my daughter was here with summer job. There was a time when I'd go out looking for a blood dog. You know what I mean?
Don't say
you know what I mean?
our friend, I'm going to start calling him Wrestling Jay's here.
I like it.
Hey, Wrestling Jay is here with his brand new segment. What's it called, Tom? Oh, it's called the Jay-Per-View. Maybe I was inspired by Metallica.
It's the Jay-Per-View. Hey, it's the Jay-Per-View. Hey, he talks smack and drops wrestling facts. Okay. It's the Jay-Per-View. Hey, it's the Jay-Per-View. Hey.
All right.
I like the hard out. That's
Hard
really
out.
good.
Hard out.
Really good.
Hard out.
I feel honored.
We
Thank you
don't
for
have time to F around. It's the Jay-Per-View with Wrestling Jay. Let's get at it.
So I have no idea what's going on in wrestling nowadays.
Yeah, wrestling.
yeah. I don't know if my sons
I do.
will get into it, but it seems like they're missing the window if they ever are.
that. You're in that sweet spot to start.
Well,
it.
they're inside looking out a window, like right now, like watching their screens. Get them outside, putting each other in the camel clutch. That's what Josh Nasby did to me, and we both got referrals. You need your sons hurting each other with wrestling moves.
Now,
That's what we did.
Did he cooperate with the camel clutch, or did you kind of shoot it on him?
No, he shot it. No, he had his own wrestling move called the Nasby Destroyer. You would take your foot and you'd put it in the crotch of your opponent and you'd grab their ankles and then you'd literally push their genitals up inside their body. Yeah.
And I have seen a lot of Jake and Logan Paul. They're involved in wrestling.
Yeah. Logan's a good wrestler.
Logan can work.
Yeah.
Logan can do moves. Let's put it that way. Logan knows the moves. It's the psychology that he might need to work on. He's a great promo. He's an athletic kid, and he picked it up really quick.
Yeah, and the biggest thing in wrestling, and why I'm so glad that Jay is here to talk a little bit of wrestling, the biggest thing going on right now, at least to me, not to jump on, if you have a direction you want to go in, is the release of R-Truth and the since rehiring of Ron Killings. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So R-Truth got quote-unquote released. There's two different schools of thought here. The whole thing was a work, or he actually got released, and the fans in the Twitter uproar and the chanting of the crowd, things like that, actually brought him back. So there's two schools of thought. Triple H says it's a work. He says it's not.
His son said on Twitter, and doing some research and prep for this, his son used, and I'm going to start using this. I'm not going to start saying it because it would make me dumb old man, but I am going to start using the emoji.
Okay.
When someone lies, what is a lie called to the youth? Capping. This guy knows.
Oh, okay. How the hell do you know?
You're supposed. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
That's got nothing to do with it.
That's Jay-Per-View. That's Wrestling Jay.
I play golf with Jay. He's not a cool dude.
He's not cool. He's not cool.
Damn, all right.
He's a nerdy old man like me.
You're a nerdy old man.
We laugh at blood dogs. We're not cool.
But you use the cap. You use the baseball cap emoji. So, Ron Killing's son on Twitter, after Triple H said, I hope you're enjoying the show. It's, quote, all part of the show. He said, cap, meaning that's not true. You fired my dad. And then later, he had to do the thing that most kids are learning. Okay, first thing I want to say here, if this is a sports segment, if you, I'm looking at you, Atlanta Falcons, if your son or daughter has access to social media, take it away from them. Don't let them ruin your $1 million job. I mean, like Ron Killings, R-Truth is a millionaire because he's a great wrestler and he's beloved. People love that guy.
Yep.
Atlanta Falcons, like, look, if your dad is the defensive end-all, be-all, you guys got to start locking some stuff down. You got to lock it down.
Was it the Falcons coach whose kids got a hold of the draft phone numbers? Yeah.
And then they started pranking Shador.
Well, he's like college. Yeah, I mean, he's a man.
This kid, though, had no business. In fact, he had to go back after he did the cap emoji with Triple H and write, I love Triple H. I love TKO. He had to write that on his Twitter.
So I'm not even familiar with the wrestler R-Truth?
R-Truth.
Yeah, okay.
How long would you say R-Truth has been around since his rapping days?
He was in TNA, TNA back in the early 2000s, won the NWA World Championship, left there, came in as K-Quick, I think 05, 06, left for a little bit, came back as R-Truth, did some stuff with Ron the Truth Killing, so there's always been kind of a little bit of here and there with that name.
What's his gimmick?
He's a rapper, and he's dumb. That's the gimmick.
I'm going to tell you something, and you're
like a Sergeant Slaughter.
No, you're going to get it.
He's a sergeant in the military.
You're going to get it. Huh? R-Truth is a beloved he's kind of like a David Jolly type of. What do you want me to spell? Doogie Howser? He's unpredictable,
okay.
wild.
All right, yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
He's funny. He has some comic relief that really put him over to, I would say, wrestling fans, even to me, like the fact that he doesn't take himself seriously, but he's also in amazing shape.
Oh, he's 52 years old.
Yeah, and he looks incredible, but he's okay wearing a chicken suit. He's okay jumping out of the rafters. He's okay if somebody hits him with a pie in the face. But he'll do anything. He's the Tuttle of WWE. There's literally nothing he wouldn't do. He's more beloved than Tuttle.
So he basically went. It was all six guys from Money in the Bank were out there, and he come in. And this is when Kane was like an authority figure. He comes out and he's talking, I'm going to climb that ladder. And Kane looks at him and goes, you're not even in the match. And then he's on the stage. My bad, y'all. Have a good night. And he leaves. So it's like goofy stuff like that.
Yeah. Right. But because it's so goofy and because I feel like it is the, quote, realness that you need to amplify the fakeness that is wrestling, or the predetermined, let's say. The fans love him. They love him the most. He's like the most beloved character.
So let's just start from the beginning, in case there's a lot of listeners like myself that have no idea the state of current day wrestling. So just WWE, and what was the other one?
AEW.
AEW, Shad Khan owned.
Shad Khan's kid, yeah.
And so AEW, how are they doing? Are they, because I remember when we first started talking about them, they were like, oh, they could give WWE a run for their money as far as competition.
I think that's what everybody thought, right?
But they thought it, but right now they're not even a pimple on the backside of WWE.
Okay.
To be honest.
So never even got close to giving a run for their money.
AEW is where guys get released from WWE, go, and Tony Khan will throw them a truckload of money and do nothing with them. Yeah. For example, Rusev, Aleister Black, Keith Lee's another one that's not really super popular.
Man, I loved Keith Lee.
Keith Lee's getting paid to sit on his rear end at home to do nothing.
He had a WWE run for
NXT, and then they brought him up briefly, then they released him.
What about Dusty Rhodes' son? I thought he's
still there.
Okay, he's
Dustin,
still there. Yeah.
Cody helped start AEW. And then even he was like, "This is crap," and he left.
Yeah, he went back to WWE, and is he just now finishing a big storyline?
Well, he lost the title at WrestleMania to Cena.
And that's how we're now we're in the new John Cena storyline.
Yeah.
So the dropping of the title from American Nightmare to John Cena, is that the
that's what they're doing right now.
Scene.
Yep, exactly.
And now we're into Cena.
That was the end of it. Now Cena's doing his retirement tour. He's done. He's stepping away at the perfect time, if you ask me. He's not going to be in his mid to late 50s out there limping around the ring. He's in amazing shape. He can cut a great promo now that he's a heel, which was what blew everybody's mind. When John Cena turned heel, it was a huge deal. He's got the title now, and I guess CM Punk is the next one up, and who knows if he retires with the title or not.
Yeah, and people like CM Punk as sort of the anti-hero to go at somebody who is, to children, beloved, but I think to adults, hated. John Cena is that for laymen, I'm trying to...
Kind of the opposite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kids loved Cena. Adults were sick of him.
So who's the new up-and-comer because obviously I know of John Cena because he made it into popular media and made into movies, and I mean just the internet alone and the I mean, like, you can argue became the biggest, most well-known wrestler just because of that and memes and and you could put him up there with The Rock, although The Rock had more movie success, obviously, but these are guys that started a long time ago. Who are going to be the new superstars coming up the ranks?
Well, I think maybe, I mean, the chat room is kind of saying that a little opposing to what you're saying. They're saying Jay has an old man view of wrestling that bothers me.
They're on the nerves again, you Jay.
Get it, baby.
Hold on, there's more here. He says AEW is doing what they do well. I would agree with that, but I've watched AEW recently, and I am bored to tears. There is nothing going on.
Structure, no organization. The storylines make no sense. Do they have guys that can go in the ring? Yeah, they do. But make it make sense to me. I tried the other night for maybe 15 minutes, and I just can't do it.
Well, yeah, and my question was, did they have a chance to compete? And you're like, that doesn't look like that.
No, I don't think they can. No.
And then so it's like, whether or not they're the cool young thing, that's like saying that this band is cooler than Metallica. Okay, Are they ever going to get as big as Metallica? No, never. Okay, well then who cares? If they were, I don't know who's the biggest.
I don't think that'll happen ever.
At first, when AEW first hit, they did it. It was pretty much an independent show called All In. Nothing. They go, can we sell out a 10,000-seat arena? And they sold it out in like 2 days. They did it again. Then they came up with AEW. Jericho was the biggest name that came in to start it off. I think managed right with better storytelling, AEW could have been a lot better than they are now. I'm not saying compete and try to take over like WCW did, but they could have done a lot better with more intelligent booking and more storytelling and better psychology.
Yes, and to counter back, to give him his, I want him to be able to rebuttal here, but he said, to me, you like the story over the wrestling. I think Jay and I probably both would love the story over the wrestling. And that's where we differ. I'm a big fan of the in-ring stuff. Different strokes for different folks. Mm-hmm. Totally get it. To me, though, what's the purpose of the in-ring stuff if you don't have a tale to tell? But that's just me. I mean, anybody can go online and watch the great. Oh, look at that! Look at the way you put him in that wrist lock.
You can do moves, and when there's no storytelling, the matches just become moves, and that's really it.
Yeah, and it seems to me, just basic business, that WWE is so big and well established and have so much money that it's kind of like you may have gotten to the final table, but the chip leader has 100 times more chips than you and literally can just,
But it really is
wait you out. You can never beat them.
Or just bully you out of the way.
Indie band versus Metallica. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that we kind of frame it like that because it isn't about who's winning. There is, WWE's won. It's over. But like as far as like maybe who the younger people,
product
think is a better product for them, or they like the wrestlers better, or like when the super kick guys that I dislike,
Young Bucks.
Oof. See that there's a tag team that like when you just say their name, people like younger people will be like, I love those guys. Now I happen to think they're terrible, but for younger people, I can see the attraction of Young Bucks, AEW, the difference. Maybe just it being said, it's a younger product. Maybe that's all I need to hear as a young person. You know what I mean? Like, because my dad's been watching WWE for the longest time. It's like, I don't want that crap. I don't want that old Budweiser. I'm a White Claw guy.
Yeah, I started watching in 1984. And in 1984, the first match I ever saw was Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik for the title in 1984. That's when I started watching it.
Yeah.
And then, even then, I knew it was quote-unquote fake. I mean, the F word that everybody hates to use for that, but it's true. My dad even nudged me before the show. I went to a first show when I was 8 with my dad and my grandfather. Never forget it. He nudges me and goes, "This S is fake, I went, okay. I knew it at 8 years old.
It's funny, like the legends are that a lot more people thought it was real than I think actually did. I always laughed at it because,
well, you acquiesce, you lean in. You're like, it's like when we go to a movie. Is this no different than that? It's like you would just do it a little more because because you realize that these two men could, like the thing that I knew, and you've mentioned this before. Your sons see it. They know that those men aren't trying to kill each other. They know it.
Yeah.
So how do they know that? With no knowledge of wrestling?
My baby sons knew it was fake the first time they saw it when they were 5.
It's performative. We know. We know what it is. So anyway.
So what's happening now? What's the next big event? What's the hottest news?
Well, latest announced to me with my buddy. I was at Metallica with Mike Aiello, and he told me something. Hopefully, I'm okay saying this, but he was like, "I got a hotel for Vegas WrestleMania." Because he always tries to go to WrestleMania.
It's officially announced. It's happening.
Yeah, it's already been announced.
Back-to-back.
WrestleMania Vegas is going to be insane.
Yep.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean...
That would be the one to go to, I think.
I'm surprised
that's the one you go.
Just do it in Vegas all the time because it's the perfect place to host a giant event like that.
I mean, it even sounds intriguing to me. After going to Metallica and realizing that I can traverse that just fine with my hip and the crowd didn't bother me at all or anything, that would be fun.
Yeah, for a weekend
I've never been
Vegas.
to WrestleMania. I've never been.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've been to 5. Going all the way back to 14. 14 was the first one I went to in Boston where Stone Cold won the title for the first time. That was my first Mania. 20 at Madison Square Garden, which was insane. 24 here in Orlando, and then Atlanta and Miami.
Oh, thank you. Ghost of Manute Bull. Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia
the Saudi show.
is the next show in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
And that'll be CM Punk versus Cena for the title.
Okay.
In Saudi Arabia. Run the numbers on that, businessman.
So, Saudi Arabia.
Why don't you run those numbers? Why don't you run that Saudi oil money wrestling?
Oh, man.
What do you think they're making on that?
They're like,
TKO?
what can we steal? Golf and wrestling. We got unlimited money.
And it's
my
huge
favorite
there, right?
things.
Isn't it huge? Or have they tapped into it yet? Like, where are we at with because I know they're trying to get into the Middle East. I mean, heavy.
Yeah.
Remember the Jinder Mahal run?
Yep, that's the only reason he won the title, because he's the girl of the Indian audience.
They threw a Middle Eastern champion. I thought he was awesome.
Great heel.
And he was evil looking. He was.
Yeah.
It was at a time when they were blatantly saying this guy's physique has been changed. He's definitely on steroids. Okay, this was being said.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
No, it was 100.
People were like,
that wasn't natural.
People were like, Jinder Mahal has been wrestling for years. He just never looked like this. And he was a freaking beast.
It was
and he
gross.
Had the turban, and then he had two Bollywood sidekick
the Singh brothers,
like do-boys that would and then he'd sick them on. Oh, I loved it, dude.
It was a great gimmick. It really was. People were so mad they put the title on Mahal. It's like, this is a business, there's 1 billion people in India.
I forgot how much I loved him as a bad guy. He was a wonderful bad guy.
Yep.
And he sort of tapped into that old school, without being racist, he tapped into that old school Iron Sheik with Ivan Koloff, and it's Russia, and it's the axis of evil against America, and he was kind of dipping a little nostalgia in it, but not going too far. Mm-hmm. And the Singh brothers having muscle, and he was like that cowardly king that would send his minions out to I loved it.
No, it was really, really good. And the Singh brothers were two little guys. I mean, they weren't big at all, but they were great workers.
But they would do terrible things. They're always doing his bidding. They're cutting people's tires. They're blowing up the limo. They're taking a dump in the food. Upper decker for Hulk Hogan.
He deserves that.
From what I know from
he really does.
1990s arcade games, the Indians have magical powers in
they
wrestling.
Do.
They can float and have.
You know what I heard? Flying carpets. That's what I heard.
Too much Mike Tyson's punch out right there.
They
do you know what they call that now? In the latest Mario game, they don't make any, they don't even go to any country. They just call it, hey, that's Oasis Mario.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Oasis?
Saying,
really? Oasis Mario? Shouldn't he have little glasses and be singing Wonderwall? Oasis Mario. Oasis Mario?
Just call him Sand Mario.
Can't do that.
No.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, so Jay, we got limited time.
Yes.
So anything else you want to throw out there wrestling related?
Watch out for Jacob Fatu. He's one of the...
I didn't know this. Hold on, real quick.
No, go ahead.
Jinder Mahal's Canadian. Was born to Indian immigrants.
He's born in Toronto, I think.
That's even more fantastic.
Yep. He's born in Toronto.
I love that. All right. Okay, continue.
So watch for Jacob Fatu. He's the next going to strap the rocket ship to this guy's back. He's already the Intercontinental Champion. No, U.S. Champion, I think it is. He just turned on Solo Sikoa. He's a great promo. He's got a great look. He's super athletic in the ring. He's the next guy to watch, in my opinion. They're going to really, really strap the rocket ship to his back and send him to the top.
Have they stopped doing the blatant themes that someone like me has a better, understanding and can wrap my head around? Like, for instance, Undertaker, he's dead.
There's always been a bit of question about that, right? Because I liked it better when he was like, wait a minute, he's not dead, but he's a biker and best friends with Kid Rock. I'm like, I'm in.
But what I'm saying is I need a very easy character. Like, I need a fisherman or a doctor.
You'd have loved the early 90s then.
Yes, that's why.
His favorite
that's
character?
My generation.
He loved IRS.
Oh, yeah. How about T.L. Hopper, the plumber?
So it seems like all these new guys, they have
Godfather?
They have an attitude.
Chat room mentioned Godfather. Yep. Yeah, you knew what he did. He'd bring the hose out. Bring the hose out.
Occupational-based gimmicks was what they were doing in the 90s. So everyone had a job.
They don't do that as much anymore.
No, not as much.
So
Ivan Yankum?
Isaac Yankum.
Isaac
Yankum DDS.
Yeah, that was Kane originally, I believe.
Sure was.
So how can you, as a young kid, get behind when this person's like, well, what is it about them? Like Stone Cold, you know what I'm saying?
Anti-hero.
Yep. Gets to beat up his boss.
Yeah, he was the anti-hero.
But he drinks the beer. You know, they're like, I like him. He drinks the beer. So they don't do as much any blatant, in-your-face gimmicks like that, right?
Not to the point like it was in the 90s.
Because it'd be
not
considered
even close.
cheesy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, just because this guy has an occupation like Repo Man, things like that.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with Tom on this one because to me it makes more sense for it's Repo Man than Young Bucks. What's that? Two guys that don't even look big enough to get in a real fight.
Two guys
they're
that never
little. They're little guys.
Never been to a gym in their life.
I've never believed that. They're just like two little guys with long hair that happen to have like they're dressed like Chris Jericho's nephews. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I don't buy you. You would get destroyed by just like a real like somebody like just you ever seen like strong real men that are strong real men, but they look like Hank Hill and they'll beat that guy up.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I know. Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, so but it does make sense because that's your parents' generation,
Right?
It's like, and they're trying to get young kids, right? And then it's like never ending trying to get young kids into it because that's where the longevity is. So they can get their kids. It's generational. It seems like
100%.
Kids love merch.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, you have let's promote something.
Yes,
here, buddy.
absolutely.
You got something to promote
Yep.
here. Let's talk about it.
Chef Pat's actually putting this on. It's called Grapple for Good, and it is benefiting Hollabacks Has Heart, supporting local causes, and giving back to the community. We're going to have Matt Morgan, the Blueprint, former mayor of Longwood, on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that guy is a monster.
He's a ginormous human being.
Coca-Cola.
We had him in here one time.
I heard that earlier on.
I was just trying to make me laugh. See how fun it is? Do you see how fun it is?
It's going to be a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, June 18th, at Tuffy's in Sanford.
Cool.
Doors open at 6. Bell is at 7. Tickets are $20, and reserved seats are $25. I'll be refereeing that night. Won't be ring announcing, but I'll be refereeing on that show.
Very cool.
Just like we did for the Krampus one up at Hollabacks. Same type of deal with this one here. Grapple for Good, so benefiting Hollabacks Has Heart. So come on, check that out.
Anytime you can go out, a little charity event, see some wrestling, have a cold drink. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And it seems like if you got into wrestling young, like it never leaves you. Like once you're a wrestler, you're always a wrestler. SJ's been trying to wrestle me for now.
That's happening. You understand that's happening, right? Yeah.
Every idea he has, he's like, I had another idea.
Like,
it's
and
me
I figure
wrestling
this one will end with us a death match.
And I'm like, I see where you're going.
I'll get the light
He was
tubes.
hooking up cameras the other day. He's like going through and he's changing the lights in here and just doing like normal stuff. And he's like, Tom, gotta speak to you for a minute. He's like, I figure once these lights are
It's
put
gonna
up,
happen
then
one day.
you're gonna throw me through the lights.
Yep.
And then he wants to fight Tom.
Was SJ a wrestler at one point?
Yeah.
We're gonna get him in and talk about it.
Okay,
We have to have to feel him out and make sure he's comfortable with it. But yeah, we have a couple of things we want
He's
to
going
talk
to do
to him
that
about.
move where he drops my body on his knee, his one knee, and the
It breaks you in half.
Yeah.
He's gonna break it in half. And then he is gonna, and I heard SJ wants to reprise Mick Foley's fall from the cage. Except we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in the beer garden at Hollabacks. Perfect. Yeah, just all the way through.
Well, Jay, thanks for coming by.
Hey, good segment, dude. That was fun.
Thank you very much, guys. Anytime. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd love it if you join us. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live. Exclusive videos there. Swervy Jones cartoons. His podcast may be coming back. Nothing would excite me more than if he brought back
that's awesome.
a show. He's doing it with all AI characters. It's wild.
Oh, really?
It's really good. Check it out. Shout out to Swervy and check out all the cartoons he has at @Tom and Dan Live on YouTube.
Also, if you want to sign up to become a BDM, we have some more events coming up this summer. We've got, of course, the Beer Fest and lots of other things.
There's some maybe a little more, let's say, listener-driven events that might be coming around the bend, too. Family-friendly events, like, you like skating? You want to strap on some skates?
Cimarron Skate Ray, July 12th, courtesy of Just Call Mo. Go to justcallmo.com/skate to register. Bring your family, bring whoever you want. Completely free, and Mo rented out the Cimarron Skateway.
You know what? Bring someone you trafficked.
How would I know?
Yeah,
I'm not.
None of my business.
I'm not looking into it.
Not my business.
Why would you say that?
I don't know.
So we got a weird job with an old friend that I'm super excited
All right,
to talk
let's do it. Let's get
Okay.
into it here. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
On the line with us right now, formerly of Orlando City Soccer, one of the only or very few American soccer players to score in every division of U.S. soccer. On the line with us, Jamie Watson. How you doing, Jamie?
I am an emotional wreck after that touching open. I wish it would have never ended, to be honest, but it's got to at some point. All good things got to come to an end, and the bald eagle flying away. Wipe my tears and get on the call with you guys and say I am so happy to talk to you two, because I have you to thank for my career and my weird job. I just basically steal what you guys do, minus being funny, minus being able to say what I really think. No. And I just talk into a microphone now for a living.
You are very, very funny, and this is Orlando City legend Jamie Watson. I know that a lot of people hearing this are going to flip out in their cars. I know they are. You are beloved, like you are. You know, when it comes to Orlando, that you are as purple as it gets, and like when we look to the rafters and think about the legends that were part of our team, and I still call it that, even though Tom and I aren't as active with it as we used to be. But man, like you are an Orlando City legend, and thank you for coming back on the show. When Tom said that he set this up, I was freaking out because, dude, we missed you just as much.
I miss you guys, man. Oh, gosh. The good old days. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. And speaking of talking about it, they still talk about you guys hosting the end of the year banquet that was legendary. Almost got all end of the year banquets canceled for the club, but it teetered on the getting canceled, having a great time line, and it was unforgettable. Feels like just the other day.
We had inappropriate jokes. We had the shabooms. People were drunk. People were getting fired the next day. Certain staff members got let go.
It was a different time.
It was a different time.
So, Jamie, let's talk about what you're doing now. So first, because this is what I find interesting. We see a lot in the media where former athletes get into broadcasting, and I want to talk about your journey going from obviously professional soccer player into the broadcasting role.
But not only professional soccer player, and you and I've talked about this recently. Yep. Am I correct, Jamie? Were you 13th overall? What year was that? That you got?
That's correct. 2005. So 2 decades ago. My God, that sounds old.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that part.
That's a long time.
Don't worry about that. Okay, don't worry about that part. Just worry about this part.
The draft was in black and white, actually. That's all it was.
13th overall. This is what and Tom and I have talked about this because it's weird to meet somebody that, in MLS Super Draft. We've been to the Super Draft, Tom and I. Yeah. A lot of pressure. The energy there is crazy. What did it feel like to you to come in at such a high draft pick? Because that's a rare, I don't know many people. He's like one of one that I know has been in like a top 20 draft pick? Yeah. That's wild. So what did it feel like?
Well, it's great. I'm sure if you asked somebody, 20 years older than me, if they got drafted, they'd be like, yeah. And then I had to go over somewhere to a country I didn't know in a different part of the world. It wasn't great. This draft was much better. It was a lot more fun. But I will be honest with you, man. I was nervous about when teams would come up, right? Because, a city comes up and you're like, Kansas City's on the clock. And you're like, I'm being honest, I don't really want to live there.
Right. That's the answer I wanted.
Kansas City catching strays 5 minutes into this, right? And then it's like New England, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of expensive, man. And I'm like, 18, so I'm a tightwad here financially. So I'm like, I haven't gotten the first paycheck yet. So I'm like, yeah, your boy probably can't live there. Don't pick me. Yeah. And then Salt Lake comes up at 13, and I'm like, yeah, this is a happy mix. Some blonde hair, blue eye. They're gonna love me out there. Let's go there. So 13th overall, and it was great, man. It was awesome. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, and they did love you out there at Real, man. And that's a pretty cool. I would imagine within MLS, that's a pretty cool club to be a part of.
Oh, it's great, man. And I fit the bill. I mean, I look like every returned missionary there that comes back, 23, 24 years old, except I'm 18. And then the parents were like, oh, you're not a part of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Okay, you can't talk to our daughter anymore. So it was,
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, man, it was really cool. It was nerve-wracking because as much as I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there, or I'd love to go there when each team is up, you don't have a control of it. So was it either 5 minutes or 10 minutes that the team is on the clock, you're thinking about, is my life about to be in this city? Okay, do I know anybody there? Do I want to live there?
Right.
Is that a good situation? And then that 10 minutes comes and goes, and you're like, okay, next. We're on to the next one, right? And then it's the next one and the next one. And it's just, there was the Dallas team where my hometown is. They were the team before at 12, and they were the team I thought I was going to get drafted to. So they go, Dallas is on the clock. And then they go, Dallas has made a trade. And I'm like, wait a minute, did Dallas pick me, but then trade me somewhere else immediately? So I do get to fulfill my dream of getting picked by my hometown team. And then within seconds, I'm booted out of my hometown team and then ended up being for another player. I go the next pick. So it was a roller coaster of emotions. And then, it happens. And then you're just thankful for your family that's there. And, that you're just like, thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah.
You don't really realize at 18 what they all did. But I would love to do that draft speech again. I would spend more time thanking my parents and coaches and less time thanking my insignificant girlfriend at the time. Immediately we broke up a month later.
So, Jamie, I'm curious to when in your mind did you start thinking about the second half of your career and getting into broadcasting? Because I'm curious, because you're always a big personality when you played, and then there was
was the personality when he played. I mean, again, I'm not blowing smoke. It's like he was the face of our franchise, and it was fun because we leaned into it. He leaned into it. We'd give him Adrian Heath would give you bust your balls about being at every he's like, you go to the opening of an envilope. That used to be the joke. That was
literally what I would do.
He would say that joke constantly, and the vibe was good, man.
Well, and also what I'm curious about is, and you see professional athletes do this sometimes, and I'm always wondering if it's purposeful in the fact of you pulled some stunts like signing the camera and things that were legendary that the fans loved. Obviously,
trouble.
You get a little bit of trouble, but it helps with a future broadcasting career because it helps people learn your personality. You become you elevate yourself a little bit.
Character development.
And was any of that planned, or was it all just part of who you are, and then you got into broadcasting later?
I would say yes, that was the plan, because I loved what you guys did while I was playing. Like a lot of athletes would be like, oh, I don't listen to what the media says. I don't watch that. I don't read that. Okay, well, I did. I mean, I absolutely read the media. I watched what you guys were doing, and I was like, that looks amazing. That looks so much fun. And then I'd be like, all right, I got to stop watching it. I got to, make sure that I subscribe to be a BDM on a pseudo account, right? Just so that way it doesn't. It's like, hey, also, why is your name attached to being a BDM? That's not a great look as a professional athlete.
It's really not.
But that's my guys,
No, it's really not.
In all seriousness, no, it's one of those things that I looked at you guys and I was so enamored with your life. Now, I was really good at kicking a soccer ball, and so I just rode that wave as long as I could. But then every time, you remember this, we'd sit there, we would do the interview at the house in Lake Baldwin, and we would have a blast doing it, and then we probably spent more time after the show was even done in the recording, sitting there talking, and I would just be picking your brain. I would be learning from people that were really, really good at what they do. And that's you guys. As much as you guys want to act like you're like, we're just winging it out. No, you guys are brilliant at what you do. And you always have been. And I could see that early on. And I was like, I have no clue how you're doing it, but how's the magic made, right? It just was so fascinating to me. And then, every chance I got, this is some of the best advice somebody gave me early on. My buddy named Brian Dunseth. He was like, just say yes to everything, right? Even if you're not going to make a ton of money, even if it's going to be some sweat equity, just do it. Just say yes. And so I did that. A lot of times I would have to tell my then girlfriend, then fiance, now wife, Kaylee, who I met in Orlando while I was playing for Orlando
Please
City.
tell her we said hello. She's the sweetest person in the world.
Oh, she is. I don't know what she's doing with me.
Yeah. We would say that too. I have the same. I have the
say
same
that behind
thing.
your back.
Yeah, you could say that about Andrea to me. Like, look, we all, and Crystal to Tom. Like, we all. Okay, Tom.
I don't know anybody says that.
Tom said no on that one.
we all keep our coverage.
We deserve each other.
But it was one of those things. Like she would just be like, "Okay, I trust you. Go do it." I would learn. I would be like a sponge. I would absorb it, and then I can't take too much credit for the signing of the camera because that was actually Austin Hiddle, who was the video guy in Orlando. He's now with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
and mind
indeed.
this guy is like blown up. He was like on the cover of Sports Business Journal.
Yeah, I think he's the head of it. I think he's the head of their video department at Atlanta Falcons. Shout out to my Falcons. Rise up.
We were trying to get him for an interview, but we had to kind of settle for Dave.
I knew Tom was going to be so mean to you because that's how we used to do it. We'd just be busting each other's balls and having so much fun.
If it was just Austin and then me, I will take option B because I remember when you're like, hey, look, we had like 9 people cancel. You want to come on the show today because we are in some trouble here. We got some bills to pay. And I'd be like, yeah, well, come on, let's go hang out. It'll get me out of a second practice.
You're joking around a little bit, but at the same time, I can remember when we worked in the, obviously we were doing social media and we're doing, promotional aspects and we're working in the marketing department of Orlando City. And you did yes, it does make sense to hear you say that was the plan because there would be times where something would happen and they would need, hey, we need some photos of the jersey. Who do we have? And then who would they call? Jamie Watson. Because they knew that, you were, again, you were the guy that was going to say yes to it. And it's probably a really good thing that you did.
Well, you know what? Not everything I did was good that I said yes to, because there was also a moment when Tom came to me and decided that he had a great bit for Junkie the Bear, and he needed me to actually wear the Junkie the Bear outfit at an Orlando Predators indoor football game because there was a promotion going on, I believe, with we're probably doing no free ads here.
It was like first. It was like Fairwinds. It was Fairwinds.
Yeah, some bank.
Fairwinds.
Oh, this is one of the greatest memories I have, JB, is when we scammed the Orlando Predators and Fairwinds because essentially it was
the statute of limitations?
Allegedly.
Yeah, let's go with that. Thank you, Jamie.
It was like for every field goal I kicked, some Fairwinds customer got like $1,300 deposited in their account, and then I went to ran in the back, switched the bear suits with Jamie, and then Jamie came out. It's funny because I was like, "Don't make them all," and he had a hard time missing.
I remember that. He was literally ringing it, man. He was like,
he's like, I'm trying to miss. I'm like, you keep you've
won. You were on the hook if you made more than X amount, and I was like, well, allegedly. And I was like, okay, well, I'd look over at the person, I'd go, yeah, you look like you could use a couple extra $100 in your bank account. Here we go, right down the middle. And I'd look over at, I don't know, some guy being a douchebag who was drunk, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't happening for you, pal. Just put it wide. Like, oh, no.
I mean, he really was holding a lot of these on-the-field Predator hillbillies. You were holding these Orlando Predator hillbillies, that 1,300 right in your palm. And he could decide.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. He could decide whether or not.
As you were doing that, Jamie, I was looking at you do it, and I was like, one day he'll regret this.
Do you remember
that day and today? Not yet.
I do like looking at people thinking they'll regret this one day, but it's my favorite thing.
Do you remember beforehand, like when you guys walked out and I was with you, and then you're like, oh, this is where we're going to be? It was way ahead of time, and you're like, can you do this? And you said it on the thing, and like, boop, it was like first time. It was like, It was like, oh no.
I was like, you know, kicking a football is a little different than kicking. Oh, you made it easy. It's like, oh, this is pretty close.
It was hilarious until the fear in your eye of we had made all the ones we were supposed to make that they had allocated allegedly. And it was like you were looking at me going, hey, look, it's all fun and games until we got to go out of our own pocket here. Miss it.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Oh, what a great story, man.
Alleged story.
Correct.
So, Jamie, let's talk about your first broadcasting gig. Actually, let's tell the audience what your official job title is right now.
So I work for Apple TV and MLS Season Pass. So Apple TV did this groundbreaking partnership with Major League Soccer where they bought all of the rights at the beginning of 2023 for Major League Soccer, and they created MLS Season Pass. So, just the same that you go on to Apple TV to go and watch Severance and you go and watch some of these incredible programs they have, there's also a separate icon for MLS Season Pass. And if you want to go and watch that in something like 120 plus countries, something like that around the world globally, you can watch that. And we have the privilege of being able to commentate on the games. And it's something that it doesn't get lost on me when I'm, talking to games. I'm like, there's somebody like on every continent that could be watching me, commentate on this soccer game.
And I owe Apple an apology because when they did the Season Pass thing and I knew I was going to have to pay for it, I was really mad, and I love it. I pay gladly because I have all my games ready to go. They have
it's easy when it's all together,
and they have their version of Red Zone.
The MLS 360 show is incredible. So the whole thing is just it's groundbreaking. It's
great.
I think a lot more other leagues are going to follow suit with something similar. They're sort of blazing a trail. So it's really cool. And then I also get the privilege of being able to sort of freelance with some other projects. So, I just in the last year alone, I've been able to be on Fox, ESPN, TNT, Max. I'm trying to think of all the different.
Sounds like
networks
Apple's pretty good to you then, because if they allow you to still stay in the soccer verse and do other things, I don't know how. It's cool that they don't lock you down and keep you locked.
So lucky, so fortunate, and and they're the bread and butter, So obviously everything sort of works around that. That's the meat and potatoes of this, and then they're great if they're like hey, look, some of the games are going to be coming up for the Club World Cup. They're like, great, we're happy for you that you're going to get a chance to do that. So actually, this is the first time I've said this out loud publicly. So exclusive. Look at that. Where's your exclusive? No, but they're great about that. They're supportive and they care about us as broadcasters and want us to do well. And they care about the product and stuff. So it's really cool, man. So I get a chance to commentate on games, and if I'm sure most of your listeners know this, you get. Normally, when you turn a game on, you hear two idiots talking about the game. I'm one of the idiots. And there's a play-by-play that tells you what's happening, and the color commentator will tell you why it's happening. And generally, it's a former player that's gotten a chance to retire and is too old to do it, but can tell you why it's happening. That's what I'm doing now as the color commentator, and it's so much fun because I sit there and I do it with my 9 and 8-year-old boy, Cade and Jameson, and my 4.5-year-old daughter. She is smart enough; she just runs away and doesn't listen to me. So I do it on the couch for games whenever I watch. Now I just get to go to a studio and do it to a global audience with MLS Season Pass, and it's incredible, man. It's a dream job, and
that's so cool. Man.
Somebody asked me what else I want to do in life. I'm like, I'm doing it. I don't want to do anything else. This is the only thing I want to do. So I'm lucky, man.
So,
congrats.
Jamie, let's talk about doing that. Were you doing that before? Do you do it as practice when you watch games, like, when you're out of work? Do you find yourself naturally doing it where it just it came easier to you? Like, did you have to practice? Tell me about the process.
Oh, I had to practice. The first time I set up shop, I just showed up to the studio and they were like, hey, we're going to do a practice game. And I was like, okay, great. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because it's very different when we're all watching a game, because also the words we're allowed to say when we're watching this on our couch are not the same that you can say on air, right? So you got to learn how to say it. And then also, too, like, you guys are very, very soccer savvy. Y'all are astute minds when it comes to the game. So I can talk to you at a high level. But also there are times when, like, I don't know, my distant family member that's watching soccer for the first time because they want to be supportive of me is tuning into the game, and they're turning on the TV and they don't know the ins and outs of the game like you do. But I've got to talk to both of you at the same time. So there's little nuances that you need to be able to bring along the casual new viewer, but also maintain credibility with the 1%, because I want every player that watches the game back to be able to be like, this guy knows what he's talking about. And one thing that I also hold myself to a high standard of is I think that everything I say on air about a player, I should be able to say to their face. So if it's easy to say that's a shocking miss. What a horrible play. I can't believe this guy. And are you kidding me? That's lazy. That's easy to say that, right? You can just say that and, hopefully you never run into that player again. right? But, or you can say something like, like a player of their quality they'd expect themselves to score from there. So when I see the player afterwards and they're like, hey, somebody, my parents are watching, they told me you were crushing me on air. I'd say, no, I said a player of your quality would expect himself to score from there. Is that true? And they would have to have a gut check. That,
oh my God, Jamie Watson's grown up. Oh my God, look at this adult here. He's like, oh man, Jamie, that's awesome.
Jamie, I was going to ask you about that because that's super interesting because I've heard criticism of other former athletes that go into broadcasting about, and this happens in other sports where they're really, they do not want to say anything negative about other players because they feel they remember being in that role and they remember how that felt.
How it feels.
So they kind of stop themselves from any negativity at all. And sometimes it's like, well, you're not
a hindrance.
You're not being truthful because the audience is like, well, you're not calling that player out for that,
right?
And then they just avoid it altogether. But I like your approach, which you're like, hey, I'm
tell the truth, but within reason.
I'm going to say how I would feel if I missed that shot. Because I was a player at a high level, and I would feel like I should have made that, and I was disappointed in my performance.
Yeah.
And I like
it's more honest.
Yeah, phrasing it like that is pretty because you do have to maintain the relationships with the players because if you piss them off, then all of a sudden they don't talk to you. You know, you can't get the same out of them, and that's pretty interesting.
Well, and you know, and there's a reason why. My second goal that I ever scored in Major League Soccer, it was in Dallas. I was 19, first time playing back in Dallas. You know, I didn't know how to say no to any friends that wanted tickets. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get you a ticket. Sure, I'll get you a ticket. Yeah, we never talked, but you want a ticket to the game? Sure, I'll get one. And then when the bill came, they were like, hey, we actually don't have any more comp tickets. You're going to have to buy 50 to 60 tickets for this game. And I was like, oh boy, I'm like hoping that the check clears type thing. You know, it was like that expensive type thing early on in my career. First time I'm playing in Dallas, I get subbed in at halftime. Our team's losing 2-0 at the time. I come in. And I don't know, 5, 7, 8 minutes in of the second half, I score a goal. And I run off to the corner where all my friends are. Casual celebration. I'm not going crazy or anything, but it's a goal in my hometown in my rookie season. Yeah. All my friends and family are there. But the commentator, I remember, he says, stop celebrating, kid. You're still down a goal. And I'm like, here we are 2 decades later. I'm not talking about what's the most meaningful goal. It was the one where I was at home with all my friends there and I scored. And the commentator was like, the hometown kid makes good. He doesn't give me this, this moment. Instead, he gives me this
criticism,
takes it away this criticism. And it's like, if you would have done your homework, you would have known that I'm 19 in my rookie season playing at home for the first time. I'm from this area, and I just scored. I wanted to play for FC Dallas, but they traded the pick away for somebody else right before, right? And it's it's like, so I remember that from that important moment for me in my career and in my life, but because the commentator didn't do his homework and didn't care in that moment, he just sort of said some lazy commentary that was negatively impacting me in that moment, and then 2 decades later on, clearly I'm over it, right?
Well, what did it go? But seriously, Jamie,
I like you still hold hate in your heart.
Oh, that's me. That's where Jamie and I.
You're looking up that guy's Facebook page. You're looking at him. You're like, I know you.
But I don't want to do that for somebody. I don't want to ruin a kid's dream. I don't want to be the one on the commentary that's like, his parents are like, let's just watch this back on mute every time we watch it now because this guy sucks.
Well, but he could have said something like, what a great goal from the hometown kid. Maybe
that's it.
Yeah. Or just maybe that's the type of energy they need because they need to get that second goal back. You know what I mean? He could have said exactly what he wanted to say, just in a little, that's wild I'm also glad you keep the hate in your heart because I do
Don't let it go.
I do too. Don't let it go. Don't ever let it go. It's a fire that will burn in you eternally.
Yeah. And sometimes as a broadcaster, it's easier to criticize or to say, and also treat players like they're cyborgs, like you're still down a goal, like you should get back to work if it's not like a human being. And
right, that was a human moment. Yeah, it's such a good point, right? And so it stuck with me, and it's made me better at my job because I don't want to be that guy.
The chat room
I don't want somebody to tell me that
find
story.
This man, and they want me to confront him for you, and I will do that. I will do today. Later today, we will find this man and confront him. on him.
So, Jamie,
Dan, you're the muscle. You're the muscle. We're sending him after you. That beard, I'd be scared. You know what, man?
I look like tiny. You don't want this tiny biker on you.
So, Jamie, how much do you have to research before a match as far as like getting players' names right and stuff? Because that's where I would be nervous, just like because I'm like, okay, I could talk, but then when it comes down to facts and getting players' names right and getting, because this is all off the cuff. And you only have one chance, and then so he's like, you can't throw out a stat that's wrong because people will, bring it up online. All this stuff lives eternally.
Real time. They can tweet at Jamie Watson,
and then it becomes some social clip where you're saying something wrong, and then it's like, oh god, like it's like one mistake out of a 2.5 hour broadcast, and people pick it apart. But how much practice?
You're not wrong.
Or how much research?
It's so much, and here's the funny bit, right? Soccer is an international; it's a global game. Not everybody that plays soccer is named Tom or Dan. Love Toms and Dans. I love those names. And there's somewhere I'm going, I'm sorry, what's that letter with some squiggly lines around it and on top of it and on the side of it and below it? And what does that mean? You look, at the end of the day, with like anything, you get out of it what you put into it. If you want to be lazy and just show up and not do your homework and not study that I'm from Dallas and I'm playing FC Dallas for the first time and I've got a lot of friends and family, and you want to just say a lazy commentary because you didn't want to put your prep work in, that's fine. But you're going to get those moments where you screw up and you mess up, or you miss something important, or you misspeak about something that you should have known was important, but you didn't because you didn't put prep in. So, but if you put the time in, you avoid those moments, you are more likely to succeed because ultimately there's a good chance that I've got to learn the life story of 30 players on a roster, and then the game day roster comes out and there's 20 guys on it. Instantly, a third of my prep goes to the mental wasteland, right? Trash.
Yeah.
And then 11 players play, and they may not make a sub at all, so it may just be 11 players. So then 2/3 of the life stories I've learned may go to the mental trash. But I need to know those moments as a commentator so that way I can make you at home understand, like, oh, wow, this kid scored a goal and he's like celebrating right now in front of his friends and family as a rookie for the first time. What a moment that kid's having. Like, good for him, and there's a human element to it, right? And, then it's funny because I've learned all these stories and, after the game I may be down on the field and I'll see these guys and it's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, so-and-so. And meanwhile, I actually know their whole story. And I'm like, oh, like, how's your 4th knee surgery last summer?
Right.
And like, how's your grandma that passed away, a year ago? It's just, I'm sorry for your loss. And they're like, wait, what, dude? We just met. Like, how do you know my life story?
Yeah.
That's my job too.
Since you touched on it real quick, how hard was it? I mean, like, and again, now that you're a broadcaster, you don't have to worry about this much, but coming back from injury, but still being a pro player, and then having to manage the expectation of healing, because I just had my hip replaced is one of the reasons I'm bringing this up. And holy crap, the healing takes forever. But you guys got that ticking. You got a ticking watch on you, like, hey, you got to get back out there.
I remember when Jamie split his calf and he showed us. I was like, whoa, that's disgusting. You split your calf.
So how do you like?
Bro, it's still split. It still looks terrible.
It just looks. I've never seen that before. And then I was like, oh my god, that must have. Not only hurt, but have been hard to recover from.
Yeah, how hard were you having to like try to recover or like do your PT and everything?
Oh man, you do it every day, right? And that when I tore my calf, I was rushing to get back for the playoffs, and that was 2013 when we won the championship, and I was trying everything to get back because I desperately wanted to be a part of it. And then I wasn't able to, so Dom Dwyer stole the show and scored like a bajillion goals for Orlando City to help win the championship. Oh man, that is a good way to put it. I love that guy, but he is knucklehead number one, right? And then 2015, I tore my ACL, but I also knew I wasn't going to get back by the end of the season. So recovery was completely different. It was also the year Kaylee was pregnant with our first child. So it was like actually kind of serendipitous because I could make the doctor's appointments and be there for that. Whereas, before I would have been like, hey, I can't go because I got a rehab and stuff like that. It's different, man. And injuries suck. It's a part of it. But like you find out like, it's easy to do all the things when things are going well, right? Like, yeah, we're having success. Like everything's going great. Like I'm going to keep doing all the things. It's when things are not going well, when you find out what you're really made of, right? And that's when it's hard, and it's like anything in life, right? This is just this injury discussion is the variable. It's X, right? Like sub in whatever it is. When things get hard, you're going to find out what you're really about. And no matter what, if things are not going well, you find out that just working hard and putting yourself into a position where you give 100% effort at whatever it is that you do is generally going to lead you to a path of success. And so I tried to think of that. There's some days where you're just like, man, the success today was like I could like lift my leg up by myself.
right.
Like, congratulations to me. And then the next day is like, I was able to do a little bit more. Some days was a step back. But one of the best things I've always had, and I'll try to get philosophical in like 9 seconds before I put your viewers and listeners.
No, they love it. They're loving it.
Everything that you do, like if you have a goal in life, I was always told just put it at the top of the staircase, right? And some staircases are 20 stairs high and some are 4, right? And whatever you're doing though, make sure that you're taking a step forward or 2 steps. And some days you're going to take bigger steps forward and you're going to get close to the top. Some days you're going to take some step backwards, right? But you just got to keep moving towards the top of the staircase and to that goal. And so I tried to think of that. And some days it was little milestones and little steps up. And then some days it was like we took a big leap forward. And so try to do that with anything. And I think that applies to whatever it is in life. Just put your goal at the top of the staircase and just keep climbing the stairs, man. And
by the way,
it's a show rule we have.
I see Jamie on his off time. He'll run. I don't know how long your run is. I'm following you on Facebook.
You're trying to compete with an athlete, all right?
But I see he's got a medal on. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm trying to do the same thing Jamie Watson's doing, and then I got Jamie Watson's blowing past me, and then I feel bad. I'm like, oh my god, this dad is so much better.
Running his entire life, Jamie Watson.
That's why they need to put some sort of sign on the back of these athletes like, hey, I was a former athlete, don't feel bad, all the fat dads trying to do this race. Like, I'm gonna be better than you.
You're not a fat dad. You just didn't run your entire life.
I know.
Jamie ran his entire life,
but he doesn't advertise it when he's doing it. That's why all these other athletes that I'm in these races with, they're blowing past me, and I'm like, oh, why are they so much better? Well, they've been professional athletes
for 30 years. He's been doing.
Sorry, Jamie.
I'll tell you what, that was the old me. I got paid to run. Your boy hasn't gotten paid to run in a while, so we haven't done that. So that's
You're right.
You got that catering life now. When Apple, I bet they got good muffins, Apple, man.
You're not wrong. Hey, the snacks are a big benefit.
They got the money, man. Like that's the place to work.
So Jamie, going back to like being a professional sports broadcaster, because I think people don't realize. I know how hard it is, and I'm watching you and other broadcasters and looking at things that they're doing all at once, and the average viewer doesn't see, because obviously the average viewer doesn't they just want to have a great experience viewing the game, listening to you guys. But I'm thinking about like the people in your ear and the break times and like you said, all the information you had to learn and research before the game.
And how do you weave in that? Remember, Apple wants you to remind everybody that there's a free trial going on right now. Did you remember to hit the free trial? You better have remembered.
The promotions, the breaks, all the referees' names, like all this other stuff that you're remembering and doing at the
reporter.
Kicking it to them, knowing what the break time like. So let's talk about like the actual production of it, because that must have been a learning curve as well, right? Just learning the TV production part of it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you don't know what you don't know going into it, and the chaos behind the scenes is crazy. You guys know this. In our industry, we get coined the term talent. I hate that term, because the actual real talented people are the ones that are working behind the scenes in production and in video and in audio and all the things to make everything happen from the actual standpoint. I'm just talking about soccer. I'm not sure how talented that is, right? So, you learn how to basically be a part of a team. And I think that's what I love about it the most is like, I'm good at what I do in this part. There are other people that are very good at what they do in another part. And I could never even hold their proverbial jock strap when it comes to some of the things that they do, right? In that term, basically meaning like, I can't live in a world, and I'm fully aware of that. Now, I think that's where you trust each other and you understand, like, what's your role with the team, right? It's like anything. Like, you're putting together a puzzle. Some pieces of the puzzle are way more important than others. So, sometimes you're a corner piece and you can't have a completed puzzle without that. And some are just that, like, weird little, like, cloud off in the sky, right? That, like, the puzzle would be just fine without that piece, but it would just look better if it was completed,
Yeah.
And so, you try to basically have a plan in place going into it, and but it's also sports and it's live sports and things change in a moment, and it's one of those that I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's for me, that is one of the fun parts about it, the unpredictableness of it. There's no monotony to it, and so I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, man, you make a mistake and you just move on from it. You just got to be able to have a short memory and be sort of resilient with your mindset, because if you let one mistake turn into two mistakes and then it compounds, it gets out of hand, it gets out of control, and then you're done, right? It doesn't go well, right?
Yeah,
so you
sure.
Yeah, so that's how I try to do it, is just try to have a short memory when look, you're going to get comments about everything you do. One thing I was told early on, you're never as good as people say, and you're never as bad as people say. Some people are going to think you're the best thing ever and say, my goodness, you are the chosen one, and, you are the best thing ever. And then some are going to say, do you get money for this? Somebody paid you for this?
Yeah.
You suck. And neither one of them are right. The truth is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So that's,
So Jamie,
you know how it goes, right? I mean,
yeah. And sometimes it's listening to any criticism or consuming it almost does you no good, especially like in with your mindset. It's like, I'm preparing, I'm trying my hardest, I'm thinking about this at all times. Like, so consuming,
he knows the goal.
Yeah, consuming any criticism almost hinders your ability to progress in your job, because then you start second guessing and you're like, the best thing I could do is trust my gut and be who I am, your personality. And that's what I want to talk about, Jamie, because like we'll switch sports, and I want to get your opinion on, like, let's say the NFL broadcasts, like the plenty of sports stars to become broadcasters, and some don't work. Like, for instance, Drew Brees, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with that, but it's like obviously one of the best players to play the game at his position, and then he just didn't work out broadcast wise. And I'm like, and people are like, oh, it's so boring or whatever. And then it's like, it's odd when some players don't work out like that. And it's like, is that all personality based, you think? Like, what do you think some former athletes don't work out as broadcasters? What do you think the problem is?
It's a good question, right? I mean,
hold on.
I think
hold on. I gotta put the camera on him. Okay, let me put the camera on him. That was a good question. All right, now back to you, Jamie.
Yeah, sorry.
Look at you. It only took us 45 minutes to get one of those.
Yeah. But contractually, I have to put him on. Show. I have to put a good question camera on him to give him. He loves to have his what you like to be chosen, right? You like for people. This was me. I did this.
I tell you what. Every question from here on out is going to be a good one.
You're like that bowler. The bowler is like, yes, look, I did this. Who did this? Me. I'm the man.
Who do you think you are? Yeah. No, I mean, the reality is, I think that there's an element to this that you can say it's one of those that it's such a subjectivity thing and such a likability thing, right? Like, it's a piece of art, right? One person could look at it and go, I appreciate it and think it's amazing. The next person could look at it and go, yeah, not for me. And that goes back to that confidence thing, like you were saying, Tom, a second ago. Like, you just have to have confidence in yourself and what you do. And I don't know, some people just don't have a passion for it either. It's like coaching too. Some players like to go into coaching. That's not for me. I like it. I don't mind it. I enjoy doing it for my kids, but I wouldn't want to do it every day of my life at a professional level. It's just not my thing. And so that's fine. I mean, some people will try it. I think the allure of media sounds fun because you don't know what you don't know, and you think you just show up and you get a great catered meal, you sit in a big fancy desk, and then you talk about things. But then you realize there's actually a lot of work that goes into it, and you're seeing the end product of days and hours and weeks of preparation for that moment. And it's like, just aren't ready for it and don't want to do it. And then they realize, I can't handle the pressure. And by the way, you know how this goes. You guys have done so many live shows. You can plan and prep everything. and then something goes astray.
Yeah.
But when the red light's on, you got to be able to perform, and some people just aren't cut out to be able to do that.
Or you can plan prep nothing, and like we did at OLE, and we just showed up, and we're like, what do you mean the sound sucks? We're like, somebody should have checked the sound.
I'll improv all this. It's fine. No big deal.
I'll just drink this away.
So, Jamie, when you do make a mistake, because it's inevitable, does it haunt you for a long time, or just like in your athlete days, like you have to kind of have a short memory sometimes.
Yeah. Show goes on.
Yeah, like forget about that mistake and move on. So, is there a little bit of both?
Yeah, hey, Tom, look, great question.
Hold on,
there is.
2 for 2. 2 for 2.
2 for 2. This guy's killing it.
Jamie knows I got the goods. I didn't even prepare for this. It's all improv.
This is where I know Tom's going to wrap the interview up because he doesn't want to keep getting this FaceTime one-on-one for good questions here. No, in all seriousness, I mean, you just have to continue on. There's nothing that's going to be perfect. It's never going to go perfect. Everything that you can imagine, you come up with a game plan, and everyone's got a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. Sometimes you get punched in the mouth because you just said the wrong thing or the wrong player or it came out the wrong way. I mean, there's been so many times where I've said, there was one time there was a guy named Maury Donor, and he was playing a ball the other way. Well, my brain put the word Maury Donor and the word ball together.
Oh, no.
And in real time.
And a goal from Greasy Boner. All right.
My brain just stopped working for like 3 seconds, long enough to give the soundbite that I don't want to have.
I'm sure they put it on social media. The boner.
And here's Jamie boner.
Just made a remix out of it, and now it's a top 40
hide your
song.
kids,
right?
hide your wife, boner.
Yeah, see, that one to me is like a nothing in my brain, like a miss.
That's because you do it all the time.
Of
course, the person that does it all the time would say it's a nothing.
But like when you get a fact wrong about like when someone got in the league, how are they drafted, like what team they played for. See, that one would bother me more because it's like
just a flub.
Because it almost like it represents maybe you didn't do enough research or something, or people like think, I
going too fast.
Yeah. Some like misspeaks. I feel like that's a nothing. I don't know how you feel about like that.
I think it's hilarious. I mean, I laughed. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Like, I didn't purposely try to say it. It was just like, yeah, that happened. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm talking soccer. It's not brain surgery, right? You know what I mean? So I also look at it as like, this is a really fun job that I try to make entertaining, because you got enough serious stuff going on elsewhere in the world. So for 90 minutes, can we make this fun? Can I teach you a little bit? Can this be enjoyable? And then you got 22 and a half hours the other day to go and stress and worry about other stuff and have it be super serious and all that stuff if you choose to. I choose to make it try to fun and enjoyable, where you like, I want to have a beer with that guy. Yeah, that guy is the guy that, like, I bet he'd be fun to hang out with. And and then there's times I gotta let you know that what you're watching is not good enough, and this team, you should be disappointed in your team because it isn't going well. But for the most part, man, I try to approach it with that, and I'm lucky to do what I do.
You're probably doing a little bit of that last night with the U.S. men's national team, weren't you?
We did have to do that. We did have to get a little bit strict.
That was a rough one. Who would have guessed old Switzerland put it right on us? Oh, Lord.
4 goals in the first 36 minutes. That did not go.
Is it true we got booed at halftime? You watched it?
I was there. Yeah, there was some booze that happened, but that is what happens sometimes when you have high expectations. And we're 12 months today from the start of the World Cup, the biggest World Cup, the most important one for the U.S. men's national team. So there is expectations that it's going to go better than what it did last night against Switzerland. And
Let's hope.
Look, here's the thing: you got to face a little bit of adversity and find out how you're going to respond to it. And so I look at this team as they've now got their adversity 12 months to the day from when the World Cup starts. You're going to have to figure it out. There's no other option but to figure it out. And so we're going to find out what this team is made of, and it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to it going terribly right now, and who wants to step up and be the one to fix it, and who's is that player a player that we don't even know yet is
that's
a
what
part
I
of
think.
the national team program.
I think that maybe that'll happen. I mean, I know our bench is short. It's going to be a rough one, but it's certainly interesting. We're running out of time. Tom, make sure.
Last thing, Jamie, before you
last good question from Tom.
Well, this is more of a personal question. Are you turning your kids into soccer players, Jamie? Do they have it inside them? Do they have the love for soccer?
Oh, you have to indoctrinate it whether they.
It's called the Tiger Woods dad.
Whether they need it or not.
You can make some really good soccer players.
Yeah. Here, I decided to forego the basketball kids being the sport. Nothing could go wrong with that plan, right? They don't have a choice. It's all about them living up to dad's expectations. I'm living vicariously through them. No, all seriousness, man, I don't care what they do. I want my kids to be happy. If they want to be soccer players, great, let's do it. If they want to be, it's like anything. Be the best that you want to be. If they want to be a garbage man, go be the best garbage man you can be, pal. And I'll be there to sit there and cheer you on.
Anything.
I'm not going to help.
Jamie, that's too much of a healthy outlook.
This guy, he sounds like a really nice guy.
You can start the training now every morning. Just, like Deion Sanders make, for sure. And then imagine
they're saying that he looks really good.
When one of your kids get drafted 13th overall, imagine the feeling.
Yeah.
You just have to put everything you got into it, and it's going to be rough for them.
They're going to resent you. They're also going to resent the hell out of you.
Yeah, but they could be the best.
Right? You made me a garbage man. Why didn't you make me happy so I could land a hot girl like your mom? Like mom,
Well, Jamie,
that's what I'm going to tell him. You pro athlete, it'll lead to being able to land the girl of your dreams. That's the way I do things. That's the motivation right there, fellas.
Exactly.
Jamie, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again too. Obviously,
if you're ever in town, please come and see us. Okay.
Oh, I cannot wait to, guys. I miss y'all. Big fans of you guys and lifelong fan of y'all as people, but also of the show. So
right back to you,
thanks
man.
for having me on, man.
Love to the family, too.
It's been awesome following you, and, congratulations on your success, and we'll be watching you. And
we'll see you on Apple TV.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. All right.
It's funny we switched to Zoom audio only to have a little. We're going back to phone. Back to landline.
It was only one question.
I know.
We got a full 40 out of it. Some people were saying, I blame the chat room. They were like, "This is the best audio ever," and then it started breaking apart.
Yeah, Jamie's such a nice guy, man.
Hell of a guy.
I
miss that guy, man. That was
he
when
gives us way too much credit, by the way.
It really does. Yeah. He pours on the.
We must have tricked him good.
Yeah.
I don't know what
about one of those broadcaster techniques where I try to do it. I do it too.
I'm like,
he makes us comfortable, right? I'm like, this guy. I was like, keep telling me how great I am.
I loved it.
I was like, I'll tell you anything now. Ask me any hard-hitting question. I'll air out. I'll say anything. What do you want? You want the secrets? I'll give you the secrets because you told me you loved me.
All right. Let's take. Actually, we got to get out of here.
We got to get out of here.
We'll see you tomorrow.